to the pulse of the people. The heartbeat is strong. Dr. Ron's got the wisdom where insight belongs. Politics, finances, break it down with ease. He's the voice of solutions, the one who believes. Kami Grayson's here, shining bright in the scene with entertainment, authors, and small biz dreams. She's a spark of the community, lifting us high where creativity flows and passions never die. It's the pulse of the people, the rhythm that prove. SKST and SG got the power to move. With voices united, we're setting the tone. Tune in, be inspired, it's your life, it's your own. Elder Willie Brown's got the mic in his hand. Community news from the streets of the land. He's your neighbor, pocket-friendly JOC, breaking it down, bringing unity. We're a trio of passion, a powerhouse blend. Voices of the people from start to the end. Engaging conversations, we're real, we're bold. With stories to tell, let the truth.
Well, welcome to another episode of Pulse of the People podcast. And I am Kami Grayson, one of your hosts.
And I'm Ron Smith, your personal finance guy.
Uh-oh, we can't hear you, Willie. Are you muted? Mr. Willie, are you muted? We can't hear you. Can't hear you. Mr. Willie, we can't hear you. You're muted. You're not muted? Maybe we're muted. Are we muted, T-Nice?
You see up top?
Yep. Okay, hang on tight, guys. Look like we might be.
Well, stand by for technical difficulties.
No? T-Nice, can you hear us? Yep, we don't hear Mr. Willie. Engineer don't hear you either, Mr. Willie. Maybe you might need to go out and come back in. All right, while we're waiting on Mr. Willie to go out and come back in, I want to say welcome to our show again.
Yes.
How about now?
There he is. He made it back.
Cool.
All in the same day.
Yes, wonderful.
All right, so apologies for that technical difficulties, but Elder Brown, what do you got? Where are you?
So I'm in Norfolk,
Okay.
and we're talking about survival. So I'm here at the Community Feed Building, which is across from, if you cross from Booker T. Washington High School, and so we've got a pantry going on here. Because of the cuts that the Trump administration is doing, food is getting really sparse. People are really struggling to survive, where now we have to only give like one item per person, you know? So it's getting really bad. So, I mean, normally, I'm gonna show you right over here. Normally, this is filled with eggs and milk. As you can see, there's nothing there.
Oh, no.
This is normally filled with a lot of produce, lettuce, you name it, and this is totally empty. And if I show you over here, we've got some apples, we've got carrots, and as you can see, there's really nothing there. And now I'm gonna go outside real quick, show you guys. Just what the need is, and if you notice, we've got these folk out here.
Oh, wow. A whole line full of people.
Yeah. So there's not a lot, and so it has to be rationed off. And this is, I don't know. This is getting. How you doing, buddy? This is getting really sad. I was wondering if I could talk to somebody real quick. To ask them about this need. Matter of fact, Mother, you mind doing a TV show with me? So cute. But look, with her cute self, about y'all mind doing a TV show with me? I don't want to do the TV show. You? Huh? Oh. Everybody, you want to do a TV show with me? You want to do a TV show with me to tell you how important this place is? Where's the TV? Right here. Oh, we're live.
Hi.
Hey,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
How are you?
Yeah.
She ran.
Everybody's everybody is shy out here. But like I said, guys, the need is great, and these people are struggling to survive, and that which fits right in with our show today.
Right,
Um,
right. So,
and
Mr.
and we always,
Willie,
yeah,
let me ask you this. So, what is going to happen? Have you talked to the people at the community feed? So,
yes. So over across the peninsula, the funding was taken away, so it looks like even the Peninsula Food Bank won't operate on in May.
oh,
There's really nothing there, and I do know, as you know, I work with Operation Blessing, and we're having a meeting next week about the lack of funding. They may have to start minimizing the number of ministries that are able to have access to get the food. As you know, I do this every month,
right.
you know, and they're going to have to start cutting down on some of the ministries. So that's why I want that's why every church person that's on this call, not just church people, anybody, but I'm addressing the church because a lot. I just need the church folk to come out of the Bible, come out of the Bible, and get off your knees
And
and
come.
start going to some of these meetings. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we have an issue. As you know, Virginia Beach just suspended the DEI. And it's the school board, and they did that without a hearing or anything. So Tuesday night, they had about 113 people that showed up to the school board meeting to voice their displeasure in them suspending DEI. So basically, the administration says, if you don't suspend the DEI, we're not going to give you any grant money. So they folded to that. And I actually called them a bunch of cowards. And I'm going to get a T-shirt that says, "We will remember in November when it's time for you to get elected." I applaud the city of Norfolk. Norfolk last night voted to not disband or suspend DEI. Basically, they said if the Trump administration wants to cut our funding off, we'll find the money somewhere else.
Wow. That's
That's
major.
huge.
That's
That's
major.
huge. So we, every event that we have, every community event, I'm calling on people to have a voter registration person at every event. Even at the Easter egg hunt we did this past weekend, I had a voter registration person. We gave out food today over at Booker T. Washington High School. I had somebody from the NAACP there to ask everyone that got a box, "Are you registered to vote?" So
Wow.
it's very, and if and I don't know if Ron's old enough to remember Tip O'Neill, or Cammy either, because we're the same age bracket. Tip O'Neill said all politics are local.
yes,
So it starts with our city council, our
yes.
school board. It starts there, you know. And this year is everybody's up. All the seats are up for election this year. All the seats are up for election this year. So we got to get out there because this is sad. It breaks my heart when normally people could come every they're open 3 days a week. Now they have to have a card, and once that card is scanned, if you've already been here, you can't come again until next week.
Oh, wow.
And I did see one family, it was his Hispanic family, mother and a father, and they had 6 children with them.
Wow.
And they could only get like 2 things of oodle noodles. So you know me, I said, get 8 more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And
that's
I dare
good.
and I dare somebody to come at me and say that too. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But yeah,
right.
but the need is great, and the need to survive is great.
Yeah,
Um, and we just really got to do something. You know what I'm saying? And it starts at the ballot box.
yeah. Well,
Yep.
this is the time that we really need to come together and,
Yes.
how figure out how the community feed come up with their food. Maybe we need to kind of target getting more products and things like that for the
Well,
people.
you know, it comes. They have a grant. You know, it's a government grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and it's like they're cutting the funding is being cut. They've cut so many employees from the USDA, and that was part of Doge, Elon Musk and his people. You know, so it's just it's not good.
Yeah.
Young man, how you doing? Would you like to talk to me on TV?
No, no English.
Huh?
No English.
Well, this young man here, you know, is very
Hola,
important.
hola, ¿cómo está?
Hola. Bien, bien.
Gracias.
Yeah, and see, and this is what it's all about. It's about them,
Hola, Miguel.
you know.
Hola, bebito.
And she's so bonita. See, bonita. Yeah. So I googled that Spanish, though. You know.
Okay, so one more thing. So
Okay.
that building, they have a fallout shelter, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
This is the Jordan Newby Branch Library, and like I said, it's right across from Booker T. Washington High School, and it has been designated as a shelter.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yep, yep. So there are no books in here. We took all the books out and replaced it with food. And there are spaces in here, in the back of the building,
Hmm.
where there's toiletry, there's water facilities down back there. So this is one of the places that's been designated in the city.
There's a fallout shelter. That's wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you, community WC Brown. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
keep up the good work
Great
there,
job.
Dr. Brown.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, listen, I'm gonna check off, guys, because I got to go ahead and feed these people. But I'll be back with next week with something really, really great. So
Sounds
stay
good.
tuned.
All
Stay
right.
tuned. All
Thank
right.
you.
All
See you
right.
guys. All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is, and it shows the really the status of our community,
Yeah.
which is a microcosm of what's going on nationwide.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have people in office who don't feel our pain,
Right. Right.
and they are making decisions based on their economic status
Hmm.
instead of what the nation needs right now.
Right.
And it's almost like back in a predecessor, the trickle down effect.
Right. Right.
It's the people on the grassroots to actually feel the pain the first in any type of economic downfall.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is one that is caused by this administration.
Yeah.
We can deal with natural disasters. We can deal with something like COVID. Those are things are understandable. But when a person make a decision to make
Put
this
us in a
happen,
situation. Yeah.
is to me is very, I'm trying to find a
A
political
good word.
unsat
Yeah.
unsatisfactory.
Yes.
And we should let our congressmen, our senators, our state representatives, we should let them know the feedback that we just saw.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. And the thing is, we had a community feed in the mall, and their whole goal is to make sure students don't go to school hungry.
Yes.
Families not hungry, and to see that place that empty, that was terrible. That was not a good sight.
And the thing about it, it's self-inflicted.
Yeah.
And like I said, I could see that we had a plague of locusts eating up the crops. I could see if there was a hard freeze that that's destroyed the fruits and vegetables. I can understand that, and we can deal with those issues. But it was an issue of a person or a administration making a decision to me is unpalatable. It's unconscionable.
Yeah. Wow. Well, so I didn't get to say earlier, but this episode is basically about survival, pulling out your survival kit, figuring out what you have to do when it's a disaster, a national disaster, or any other type of disaster. And so the information that Elder Brown just gave us. There's the fallout shelter there at the library. You know, there is a pantry of resources, but unfortunately, the resources for the pantry is not how it used to be. You know, it's not how it used to be. So you might want to second guess that one because it looked like they had a line, and like you said, they were rationing out one per family. So that's something you probably might want to see if you can find other resources for that. But Dr. Ron, what do you have?
Well, we're the whole show was set up about emergencies, whether there have been natural disasters or what's going on. And the thing about it is, climate change is a real issue. Over the last couple of years, I would say within the last 5 years, we've been talking about wildfires in the West. Matter of fact, I even had some, acquaintances in Pasadena and Altadena. And the floods in the Midwest, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Pennsylvania. And matter of fact, there's a fire going on in New Jersey right now.
Wow.
So it is easy, let's say on any typical day, when you leave your purse at home or you leave your wallet at home, you leave your glasses at home, you could go back to your house and get it. But if there's a declaration of a natural disaster, you won't be able to go back and get those things.
Right.
So what I'm going to talk about is basically what is your financial emergency, and I call go bag. I'm prior military and law enforcement, so there was times that, and when you had to just pick up and go at a moment's notice, and you had certain things in your bag. So basically, I'm going to talk about the financial aspect of what you need in your bag, and then Kami is going to talk about some of the physical aspect. But the first thing you need in your bag is cash. You need cash on hand. I just recommend from $300 to $500 that you can get your hands on. Now, here's the deal. They need to be in 5, 10s, and 20s. You don't need large denominations because you're going to get to a place where there might not be no electricity. If you don't have electricity in your home, you're not going to have electricity at the bank. Stores might not be able, so they ain't going to be able to do things in cash only. You're not going to be able to use your debit and credit card. Those are the things that I want you to start thinking about putting in your go bag. Next thing, you need to know where your driver's license is, your passport, your social security card, birth certificate, marriage license, and your DD-214 for all you military people. Now, I'm not saying that you should have those things in your secure, fireproof, waterproof safety deposit box, but you should have those things in a digital format also. How many people actually know their family, friends' phone number?
You don't.
If the phone system gets shut down, you need to make sure you know how to get in contact with your next of kin. And another tip is you might not get through on the call, but you can actually text people when the natural disaster. And I got some more things besides the cash, the banking information. Remember, I said that basically this should be put aside in your, in a secure area. Now, if you got a filing system in your garage, it has to need to be at least 3 feet above the water line. So if there's a flood,
where you live.
It all depends on where you live. But if we're talking about an emergency, so we're looking at the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario that you having a flood or a fire. So, and these are some things you need to have to get together anyway. Proof of ownership documents. That means from your car, titles, deeds, your home, mortgage, tax information, your insurance policy, your estate planning papers, mortgage, utility bills, because you got to realize that if you're away from your home a week or two, the mortgage, the rent still is going to be due.
That's a shame, but yeah.
It's unfortunate those things don't stop just because, your life might stop at that particular moment.
Right.
And you think about your medical information, your insurance cards, your pharmacy cards, let's say your power of attorney, your medical power of attorney, your living will, your trust. And all I talked about your emergency contacts. We all have them on our phones, tablets, computers, electronics. But what if those things get destroyed?
Right.
So, and I know you're going to talk about this, but have what they call a weather radio, where you can listen to NOAA give you and that's the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. They give you the update of if it was a hurricane or something that's in this area. And I know you're going to talk about the personal hygiene, so I'm not going to mention that. But
crossed over.
Pictures of your pet, because if you're at work and something happened and the pet is loose, you need to be able to find Dallas. And I think I talk about checkbooks and all those things. So you need to have those digitally, so you can have that with you and have your paper files in a safe, secure area.
Right. And so the things that he's talking about is really, really good. And another place that you can put those things in a safe deposit box at a bank.
Yeah, but if you don't have power, the bank is not going to have power.
Well, you'll still have your identification. So I'm saying you're not going to need it right then and there. So it'll still be in the bank in the safe deposit box, because that's where my things are. And when you come back, when you have to come back to claim your house or whatever you need to claim, you could go in and get it from the safe deposit box. At least it's not in the house in case of a fire or something like that. So I think that's a good place. And then another thing you mentioned was family members' information. Well, you can always scan those documents and email them to yourself. So that way it's in your email files and turn them into a PDF, and it's always there electronically. So you mentioned that. That's a good way to have it, and print it out in your personal belongings.
And it might not be a bad idea to have that digital scan information to your family member who's maybe in another state, that they can be able to make sure if you are in the situation. Because if you have to be in one of those locations where there is no cell communications and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So that's amazing. Well, thank you, Dr. Ron.
Yeah. So get that kit together. Reason why we're talking about it now, we are here in Virginia Beach in the 75-7 area. We are getting ready to get into the hurricane season. Yeah.
The same in New Orleans as well. So whenever you live by the water, you're prone for those different disasters to happen. So, but we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with some show and tell when we get back. Well, if you just tuned in, you haven't tuned in too late. You tuned in to Pulse for the People, and I'm Kami Grayson.
And I'm Ron, your personal finance guy.
Love it. So we're going to do a little bit of show and tell, and so that way you can see what to put in your disaster bag. I call this a survival kit, and mine's is gonna always be overpacked because that's just me. But Dr. Ron, show us what we got in the bag.
And sometimes you need to be overpacked. And the thing about it, I call it the go bag, you know. And I've used this all over the world. It wasn't purple, it was camouflage. But it had some of the same ingredients in it. So I'm looking at one of the first thing I talked about, you need to have cash.
Okay.
And I told you that basically you need to have the small denominations of cash in it.
So
And the thing about it, and it should be in a waterproof bag.
okay, so
And as well, you
let's
should
see.
have all your information in digitally. So now we have our
So that's part of the survival kit, like a digital, a sort of battery pack, just in case if you're still somewhere where they do have phone service, and make sure that you have a good charger in hand. And so he was talking about your little case to put like your identification, your passport, and things like that you need to go in a hurry. So I know you can't keep your driver's license in here, but I normally keep my old driver's license, and that way you do have some identification. So in case something happened, an accident, they know that this person was originally from Texas, and it does have my birth information. I certified CPR, and so that way they know that I can help, if in case something happens. And then a credit card just in case you get out of the city and you don't have enough cash. That's that. And then also another identification will be probably like your business card, so it show your work, what you're doing. And mine happened to have my picture on it, so they'll know for sure that that's me. And so so that's that part. And
I like this, even though you didn't talk about it. Always have like a plastic bag that you can put other things in it. And one of the things I used to do is if when my boots got wet, I just put my foot in the plastic bags and put my wet boots back on.
yeah, because you never know if it's raining or storming. You could always use this plastic bag to put different things in.
And what did we have here?
So you have to have food. So you don't want to be stuck in your car or wherever you're stuck at without having nourishment, right? So non-perishable foods. So something like something with protein. So I think when he dig a little bit deeper, he'll see more of the food. Like I have canned Spam. What else is in there? Canned Spam, protein bars. And so protein bars is really good to have. So he can pull that out later. And then,
this is probably the most important thing that you have.
so what he's speaking of is the medical kit. The medical kit can be whatever you think you're going to need, from bandages to wipes to allergy medicine, toiletries. I even have a what do you call it? The temperature, if you have fever or something. And
Advil.
I've got to have my Advil.
Mouthwash.
So a toiletry is mixed with your medicine.
And
so this little baby is an air pump, and it goes with your plastic bag. So if you just say you needed to use this plastic bag to, like, for some clothing that you have on and you want to change clothes, you can put those items in the plastic bag, and you can suck the air out, and it'll still be small that you can still add it into your backpack. You don't want your backpack to get too big.
Two things you need to have: underwear and socks. If you don't change anything else, those two things you definitely will come in handy.
Okay, and so this goes back to the the financial aspect. So this is our bank stamp, and so if you need this information, you got your account number and everything on your bank stamp.
Here's another bag. And
So I always say that you got to have a towel. You need some type of towel just in case. Like you said, if it's raining, it's not as big as a bath towel, but at least this type of microderm sponge, it'll help dry up real fast.
I think you have some baby wipes in
And
your bag also.
baby
that
wipes
you
as
can
well.
Actually do that sponge cleaning or
Yeah,
get the hot
absolutely,
spots.
absolutely. Okay, so candles. Now these are called emergency candles, and you can get these at the dollar store. And so that way, if you're just home and your power's out and it's really dark, or you're somewhere where it's really dark, at least you have the candles.
I'm scared of going into this bag. Right
Okay,
Oh,
so this is a tool bag. And so I really think this is important because not because it's pink, but because you might need it for something. And so within this bag, I have a lighter. So with this lighter, you can use for your candles, or in case you have to make a fire or something like that. Always, the screwdrivers and writing utensils, a marker in case you need to kind of mark things. I have a tape measure in there, and I also have, I think it's sort of important, some scissors, and I have a, what do you call it?
Well, it's a X-Acto knife, but it's like a razor that can also be used as a weapon.
That weapon. There you go. There you go. So that's why that's important, because you never know what type of situations you're going to be in.
Yes, and for how long you're going to be out there. So we know H2O is very important.
You have to have at least a gallon for each person that's with you. So, but if it's just like just you and you have a little pack like this, 2 or 3 just to get you going. But this should be the only thing that you have to search for is the water, because you can't carry so much with you.
All right, now we get back to the good stuff.
Okay, so now I suggest canned goods. They have the kind that with the ring top that you can pull, but also bring a can opener. So I would suggest the pull top, but if you don't have pull top, make sure you put a can opener in your case.
And we have to.
Now, people don't really know about these, but these are called Kind 7G protein bars. So these will come really in handy, and they will fill you up really quick. And these are just stuff that I keep around the studio because we're so busy here. And so these are real important to have.
And this is my favorite.
And so this always reminds me of my grandparents, because we would go fishing and we always have some spam or something. But yeah, so again, pull top, your crackers. This will get you going.
Now, I'm not giving a plug for Trader Joe's since they're not sponsoring our broadcast, but Trader Joe's have a food go kit that can last you from a week to or 30 days.
Gotcha.
So that might be something.
So he was talking about notepad. So notepads are important so you can write things down. If you need to leave a note, and it's like you go to relatives and they're not there and you're just popping up because you don't have phone service, leave a note. So you'll always be able to leave a note.
And remember I said about cash. That's what's the first thing I mentioned. But you need a small denomination, because if you don't want to pull out $100 bill,
right,
and they can't open the cash register, and most likely you have to pay closest to what you're going to get.
Right, right. Now he suggests small bills. Well, I have I would like to have at least $300. I think your number was a little bit higher than mine.
Well, 3 to 5.
So
It all depends how the length of stay.
yeah, that's true. So I usually go with at least $300, and the 50 is probably the highest I can go. So everything else has to be under, but you don't want a lot of ones because that'll be taking up more space.
Right.
So you start at 5 10s and no more than a $50 bill, but at least $300. That at least get your airline flight somewhere.
And gas.
And
money.
gas. And gas. And so,
Is this another toolkit?
that is not a toolkit, actually. It's a concealed weapon.
Oh.
And so, for those of you who do have a concealed weapon and you have license to use it, just remember your license is not good in each state. So be very careful with that. And then be careful with bringing it to the airport.
Yes.
So, so just know if you're just traveling, and like I'm by myself, I'm female, right? By myself. And so I feel more comfortable with my weapon with me.
Oh, I have mine with me also.
Okay, so
I feel very comfortable.
he's very comfortable. And so, is that
Something
everything?
else?
And so, we're talking mask, and I have a video that's out there for you that I have a list of all of these items that's here. But take a mask just in case you need it for something. But even the mask, you need a heavier mask for like the smoke inhalations and things like that. I don't have that. I'm not the owner of that, but I would love to have one because I think that's something that's useful. But here it's more, to me, it's more water,
Yes.
So, but like in California and all those places where they are prone for fires, you probably want to get a stronger mask.
This is very important.
Okay. So now what he's saying is very important are batteries. And I have all size of batteries because you might need them for different things. Flashlights, different, like your little radio, portable radios and things like that. I don't have a portable radio here with me because I have an iPod, but that's the type of things that you would need batteries for.
I have a solar power radio in my kit.
Okay, see, and then that's good to have, so where you can hear the news and know what's going on. And then duct tape. You need some duct tape just in case.
And just miscellaneous tacks, screws, etc. You never know that you might have to put up a lean-to or.
That's right. That's right. And that goes back to the plastic bags. You can use those plastic bags as a pallet. You can fill it up with air. Use it as a little pillow. You can use those for different things like that. And the final thing is that book there. Just in case you're held up somewhere in a shelter or any place,
Right.
Get your reading on. So it's very important. Maybe put your Bible in your backpack or just the book that you're reading. And another thing I do, there was a little chain. Did you see a little chain? It might have fallen out. But I usually keep a crucifix with me wherever I go. So that way I feel I'm covered, And so usually it's like on my doorknobs or, just for me to feel like sometimes you need to hold that when you're in a disaster stage. And so I usually just keep a little crucifix with me. So anyway, this is my disaster kit. And I challenge you to start your own disaster kit and share with me.
Yes.
All right. So, any last words?
No, it just start getting those things together now while things are calm, because when the emergency happens, you're not going to be able to think of all this, and the shelves are going to be empty anyway.
So there you go. All right, guys, this concludes our show for today, and we can't wait to see what we have for you next week. Bye for now.